Hey everybody, just Brett coming to you from class here, talking about looking at Weebly and Google Classroom as an e-portfolio system overall for technology education and how you can use this in your own classrooms. So the advantages of Google Classroom for students and teachers is that obviously it's always on the web. And you have this from your mobile device at any time that you want it, and really it gives kids no excuses for handing in assignments and getting caught up like that. With teachers, obviously, it's an organized platform of online technology that allows you to have all your stuff organized, put one into one. Oh, just stop, I gotta do this again. Hey guys, just Brett here, talking about Google Classroom today and the use of Google Classroom and Weebly as an interconnected thing for an e-portfolio system that you can use in your own classroom. Obviously this gives a lot of advantages to teachers and to students. For teachers, of course, you have sort of, it's at your fingertips with the web. You can include all kinds of links. It's on your mobile device. It's an organized way of showing kids that's interactive online, different things with the medium of the internet in general. For kids, of course, it's got that same thing. You can use it on a mobile device or do your homework anywhere in the world. But of course, you have something different that's going on rather than just paper and books all the time. So how do you start this off and how do we get into Google Classroom? For my own district, we of course have what's called a Google Education account. And the reason we have that is because there's FOIPA privacy rules that don't allow you to just use a normal Google Gmail account or a Google account. So we've already have that set up. So I just of course want to use a Google Chrome browser, as you can see on the screen here, and get into looking at how do we sign into Google Classroom. So right away it just takes me to my home screen. I of course have a profile because I've just been recently using this. So it will ask you to just sign into Chrome, but for me, I just have a profile. I click on mine. That sets me up into my account for my, what you can see when I hover over here, it's my what's called a Jeju Google Education account. And then it gives you a couple things that are already previously set up with my own Jeju account. It's connected to apps, okay, and these two icons give you that, one up on the left, one by my picture. And of course, this particular one is the actual classroom icon. So I'm just going to click on that. It's cool because it will tell you if you've received work from students recently, and it'll give you that prompt. Even if you haven't used it in a bit, it'll show you know that this has changed. But for the first time, we're just going to open this up. So this is my Google Classroom. I had to, of course, change the picture, sort of select a theme, what goes about with this particular one. And you can see it's a little bit different from, I have another classroom set up, which is a social studies classroom other than my French class. And I've just changed it a bit and got different things happening with the text below. These three things is just your main menu. Okay, and of course I can switch back to my French class. We have three main headings that are on this area. The stream is just basically your main page. The student page, it starts to tell you who's in your classroom, because of course kids have to get into your classrooms. In this area I can invite students. That's one way to get them into the class. If I go back to my main page, I'll show you sort of the other way that they can also get here. On the left-hand side, there's a class code. You just put this up on a projector, they take it, put it in their mobile device or whatever device they're at, any computer, and they're able to join your classroom. The final header here is just an about page. It's an optional page. It just kind of shows you. You can put a title here. You can say which classroom you're in the building. Put a few things with folders or whatever, not extremely important, like the main page. So, some features about the main page. This is a French class, so I've just basically announced a welcoming post that's showing you know, where they are, that they made it to the right place in Google Classroom, and some information about how this is going to work for the student. I can always edit these posts, just to the right, the three dots up there. This particular one, just shows you that there's the text. I can also insert whatever else I want, video, hyperlink, etc. Cancel or save that. I could do it in a different way. I could just add a comment. This particular one is, if you notice in the bottom right, has several features that you can use. This one the first one I just used an announcement. You could also create an assignment, use discussion questions that are good because you get immediate feedback with them, or you reuse a different post that might say something similar. Some advantages to each one of these, of course. So for my first post, I actually created an assignment beyond my announcement there. And my assignment was basically a portfolio assignment that they're going to set up using Weebly, which is another website that's an important tool that's interacting with my Google Classroom. You can see the icon that shows that this is an assignment. A couple cool features about posting an assignment for the teacher. You can see here, you can see that in my class, I'll just go to students to show you that I have one student in my class who may or may not have done their assignments. It tells you if they are not done or if they're done. So if you have 30 kids in the class, it'll give you the numbers as to when that's done, which is a great advantage to the teacher, of course. Inside of your assignments, of course, if I wanted to edit this, which is these three dots, I can create links, which I've done here, a hyperlink. And the beauty about these links is that, I mean, this one is to a Google Doc, this one's to my Weebly site. They actually have pictures, so there's no confusion to the student. They're able to see what it is they're about to open up, which is beauty inside of Google Classroom itself. So these actually link to my Weebly site, which we're going to go to in a second. But I also posted my first assignment as well. So again, the instructions for the assignment are at my Weebly site, and the actual assignment is there as well. So as you see, we can take those links that are set up in my Google Class and actually click on them to get to my Weebly site, so then I can show you how to set that up and how students can set that up. And that's the reason I've done this, is to actually get students to do this exact thing with Weebly. So I'm just going to click on my Weebly site here, and that just gives me my French Weebly page, but I also made one for social studies as well, and I have that link as well at Google Class. So if I click back on my Google Class, go to my Socials 8, I also have the link for my Socials 8 classroom, which, if you notice, opens in a new window every time, which is nice as well. So then you have 3 tabs that you can be working with. The next tab, that, of course, that I want to have up here is the one that I'm going to be able to work with or construct, which is the actual Weebly site, which is just weebly.com. So from this, I can actually construct and edit my French and my social studies classroom, or I could build a new site. And that's the purpose of what I'm going to get my kids to do. So this here is an example, and the reason I've done this for my students is to show them what can happen on the Weebly site and how they're going to set up a portfolio system by using Weebly. What it does for the students is it's giving them an assignment to do, which is the number 1 purpose. Number 2 purpose, these are in random order, is the fact that they're now getting more technologically advanced by using these web tools. So it's online learning in itself. And the third reason that this is an e-portfolio system that they have online. They can manipulate, they can submit assignments, resubmit, they can have for the future, they can add to, they can always add any sort of links or whatever for their personal use for this class. So that's the power of Weebly. The beauty about Weebly and Google Class is that they're totally interchangeable, especially with some of the linking that goes on with Google Docs. So just looking at my Weebly site here, I just want to show you how this is set up and how I would basically show kids to set this up. In fact, if I just go over to making another tab open and go into my own personal drive, I've set up instructions for doing this on a Google Doc. So I have that link on my Google Classroom site, and that there, just click on it as a Google Doc, shows you setting up your e-portfolio. And there's this straight out easy set of instructions that's attached to my Google Classroom for the kids to be able to use. So the first thing to do, I'm just going to close that off, is in our site here. So I have my French class set up, I have my social class set up here, but if I were to set up another site, which is what the kids are going to do,